Overwatch is going to change forever. As you guys probably already know, Blizzard is cooking up something really big, and it is called Spotlight, which will be the equivalent to announcements from BlizzCon. But since we didn't get a BlizzCon in November of last year, this is the place to see what Overwatch has actually been cooking on. We don't have many informations yet, but we can just speculate what those groundbreaking changes might be. I've read through all over the internet what people think this big change could be, and I'm going to show you which one are more likely and which ones are maybe not so much. The first one on that list is probably the most requested one, but we already got confirmations by game director Aaron Keller himself. 6 versus 6 won't be the groundbreaking changes that people expected. He said that the tests were very successful, and actually like 10% of all playtime in Overwatch were in the 6 vs 6 test, which is huge. But if you consider that 30 to 40% are quick play, I think personally that is not a high number. Sure, there's a lot of people who love that mode, but I feel like most of the people just tried that mode like any other test they did, and then they just moved on. What happened to that hype that everybody had on 6 vs 6? But yeah, they said they still needed some time. Instead, we're getting a brand new mini season for 6 vs 6 in the mid-season patch of the next season. Another more likely theory is that we might actually see talents in Overwatch 2. We've already seen them testing talents in Overwatch when they released the Halloween event from last year, which was the Junkenstein's Lab game mode. In this mode, you got random selected cards that you could choose from to upgrade your hero. And I have to say, a lot of those talents are very well thought out and are probably the remains of the Overwatch 2 PvE that they promised us. And I'm surprised that not a lot of people are actually negative about it. I've seen so many people requesting talents in Overwatch, and I have to say I'm not sure about this one, since it would make Overwatch considerably more complicated. If they execute it very well and at the start of each game you could just choose your favorite talents, it's almost like you could actually build your dream hero, and that's just very cool. Another feature we already tested as well was the Pickable Passives. I don't know how many of you actually tried this one. I actually played a few games with that, and it wasn't the worst mode, to be honest, because it was kind of similar to counter picking, but instead of just choosing another hero to counter the enemies, you just pick another passive for your hero. And that thing could actually solve the problem that 5 vs 5 has with those big counter swapping, especially on the tank role. Another feature that I thought about would be really cool to see in Overwatch is PvE elements in the game. What I mean by that is, most of you probably don't know, but I'm actually playing a lot of Deadlock as well. And that game, of course, it's just a MOBA. You have to kill PvE enemies to get currency, to buy yourself talents and that. I don't want the game to be that complicated. But things from that game could also be implemented in Overwatch. Like, how cool would it actually be if there was some kind of PvE enemies scattered around the map? And if you can kill them, you get some small like buff or something like that. That would kind of be cool, and stories could be told even better in Overwatch. I know this is just something way out of space, and I'm almost 99% sure something like that will never happen in Overwatch. But that was just a thought on my part, and yeah, that could be something very, very interesting. The last features I want to talk about are actually not that far away to be implemented in the game. And I'll put them into one category because that feature has been requested for a very, very long time in Overwatch. And that is hero bans and map bans. If you've already played League of Legends, you're probably familiar with the hero ban system. Before every round starts, you're able to choose between all the characters and which one you want to be banned for the game. I know it can be very frustrating when your main actually gets banned a lot of the times. But on the other hand, I see it as a very big opportunity for Blizzard to see which heroes are getting banned a lot and which ones maybe not so much. So instead of just only going off win rates, you could actually go off the hero bans and see which hero might need a rework, might need some buffs, might need some nerfs. And the same with the map bans. I don't want a system like in CS2 where you could just queue for this one particular map, because Overwatch has just way too many maps that people would just never pick in their life. But a system like at the start of the game where you could choose between, I don't know, 5 random selected maps and you have to ban one of them would be a pretty good idea. And the same is with that system. The devs now have an insight on which maps are not getting played as much and might need a rework. So yeah, that was already it with the video about the upcoming Spotlight event. Let me know down in the comments which groundbreaking feature you want to see in game. And also, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe because I make Overwatch content all the time. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.